Hello everyone and welcome aboard the SpaceKidets spaceship. My name is Abigail, and I will be your tour guide for this mission. As you can see, we are currently in orbit around our own blue planet, but shortly we will be leaving Space Station X and head for the inner planets, starting with Mercury, Venus, and Mars. We will then head across the asteroid belt to visit the gas giants, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune. We will explore some of the moons as we go. We will then return home to Mother Earth. Thank you for choosing SpaceKidets Plus. We hope you enjoy your tour. You should know that as this is a spaceship, we can maneuver at will around the objects we visit. This is done as smoothly as possible, and is necessary to get you the best view. First stop, Mercury. Mercury is the closest to the Sun with a distance of 57.91 million kilometers from the Sun. With a diameter of just 4,878 kilometers, Mercury is the smallest of the planets. Its day is a bit shorter than 2 Earth months, and it orbits the Sun in just under 90 days. With a surface temperature of 420 degrees Celsius, it's one of the hottest planets in the solar system. Can you guess which planet is the hottest? As you can see, Mercury has a heavily cratered surface, not unlike our own moon. It also does not have an atmosphere. Do you think humans could live there? Tough one. But no, we couldn't. Next stop, planet Venus. Planet Venus. Second planet from the Sun. Distance from Sun 108.2 million kilometers. Size 12,108 kilometer. Length of day 116 days long. Length of year 225 days long. Temperature 460 degrees Celsius. Number of moons, none known. Venus is named after the goddess of love. As a planet, it looks very similar to planet Earth. The two worlds are about the same size. The Earth is only slightly bigger, though you would not notice to look at them side by side. Both planets too have a thick atmosphere, but that's where the similarity ends. Venus has a thick carbon dioxide atmosphere, which seals in the Sun's heat, causing the temperature to go way up. With a temperature of 460 degrees Celsius, it's a lot hotter than a domestic oven can get. Added to this, the planet has active volcanoes, and it rains sulfuric acid. Added to the high pressure on the planet's surface, nothing can last there long. It's not surprising then, due to the planet's carbon dioxide atmosphere, that after the Moon and Sun, Venus is the brightest object in the night sky. So, do you think humans could live there? No. So, next stop, planet Mars. Planet Mars. Fourth planet from the Sun. 240 million kilometers from the Sun. Size 6,779 kilometers in diameter. Length of day, just over an Earth day in length. Length of year, 687 days. Temperature, -62 Celsius. Number of moons, 2. Phobos and Deimos. Coming into view now, you will see 4 extinct volcanoes. Top left is Olympus Mons, the tallest mountain in the solar system. At 25,000 meters high and 674 kilometers wide, it's over twice the height of our own Mount Everest, which is 8,848 meters high. In fact, at 674 kilometers wide you could almost fill an area the size of France with Olympus Mons. To the right of it are Archer Mons, Pavonis Mons, and Ascrius Mons to the lower left. Each of these is extinct. Under good conditions, they can just be seen with a telescope from Earth. Other than extinct volcanoes, Mars has been found to be a very barren world with landscape dominated by rocks, sand, and cliffs. Regular sandstorms can often be seen raging from the Earth. We know it also gets very cold too, as we frequently see solid carbon dioxide on the surface. Could humans live there? Believe it or not, we're working on it. Through a telescope, Mars is seen to have various dark markings, so some of these features may look familiar to you. It is by no means easy to view Mars through a telescope on account of its size, but when closest, you can clearly see the dark markings. As we said, Mars has 2 moons. The largest of these is Phobos. Let's pop there now. Phobos is the innermost and larger of the 2 natural satellites of Mars, the other being Deimos. Both moons were discovered in 1877 by American astronomer Asaph Hall. Phobos is named after the Greek god Phobos, a son of Mars and Aphrodite, and twin brother of Deimos. Both moons are believed to be captured asteroids. Now let's zoom to Deimos, rude not to. Deimos. Same irregular shape as Phobos, it's the smaller of the 2 moons. It also seems to have a smoother, less cratered surface compared to its larger brother. Now we journey across the asteroid belt to the first of the gas giants, planet Jupiter. Next stop, planet Jupiter, the largest of the planets and first of the gas giants. 5th planet from the Sun. Distance from the Sun, 778 million kilometers. Diameter 140,000 kilometers. Length of day, about 10 hours. Length of year, 12 years. Temperature, -145 Celsius. Number of moons. 79 known moons. Jupiter is a massive ball of gas and dust, which, like Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune, had no actual surface. You couldn't land a spaceship there. See the billowing clouds on the surface, with multiple bands and active weather systems. Activity that makes Jupiter such an interesting world. You can also see the brown equatorial belts, which are also visible through most small telescopes. Now we begin to see Jupiter's great red spot. A big thing Jupiter is famous for. It's believed to be a massive storm. We've known of its existence for over 500 years. You could at one time fit 2 of our planet Earths in there, however, sadly it has since shrunk to about 1 Earth size. Still a trademark of planet Jupiter, and like the belts we mentioned, can also be seen through a small telescope. We also mentioned that Jupiter has many moons, too many to visit in this short tour, but we have time to visit 4 of the biggest: Ganymede, Io, Europa, and Callisto. Next stop, Jupiter's biggest moon, Ganymede. Ganymede, the largest of Jupiter's moons and third from the planet. Size, 5,268 kilometers. Largest moon in solar system with a very thin atmosphere. Orbital period, 172 hours. Water seems very abundant on the moon. It is believed there is a subsurface ocean. In comparison, Ganymede is larger than Mercury by volume, but Mercury is heavier. Next stop, Io. Io is the innermost of Jupiter's moons. Diameter 3,642 kilometers, it's the fourth largest moon in the solar system, just a bit larger than Earth's own moon. It is the most geologically active body in the solar system, with over 100 mountains, many are taller than Mount Everest. Its surface is of molten lava. Next stop, Callisto. Callisto, the next largest of Jupiter's moons. Fourth from Jupiter. At 4,820 kilometers across, it's the third largest moon in the solar system, and just smaller than planet Mercury. It's composed mainly of rock and ices, and is the most heavily cratered surface in the solar system. Callisto has a very thin CO2 atmosphere. Next and final stop of our tour of Jupiter's moons, Europa. Europa, second of Jupiter's moons. With a diameter of 3,121 kilometers, it's the smallest of the Galilean moons. Slightly smaller than Earth's moon. Europa has a smooth, icy surface. It is believed there is water present below the icy surface, which has led us to believe that life could exist there too. We hope one day to visit the moon to see if there is life below the icy crust. Before we move on to our next stop, Saturn, let's pause a while as we watch Jupiter pass by. What a beautiful, majestic view. Next stop, planet Saturn, sixth planet from the Sun. Planet Saturn, sixth planet from the Sun. Distance from Sun, 1.57 billion kilometer. Size, 120,000 kilometers. Day, 11 hours. Year, 29 years. Temperature, minus 278 Celsius. 82 known moons. The rings themselves may look solid through a telescope, but are in fact divided into several parts, which themselves are divided into millions of tiny ringlets. The exact origin of the rings are believed to be fragments of comets and pieces of ice that broke up when the planet was formed. The rings are a whopping 273,000 kilometers wide and mere few kilometers thick. Strangely, each of the gas giants has rings, Jupiter included, but only Saturn's rings can be seen through a small telescope. Also noteworthy of Saturn, before we move on to the moons, is, if you were to find an ocean big enough, Saturn would float in it, despite its size. Let's take a minute or two to marvel at the beauty of this amazing planet. Next stop, Saturn's largest moon, Titan. Titan is Saturn's biggest moon with a diameter of 5,150 kilometers. That makes it bigger than Earth's moon, and half the size of Earth. It is half the size of Mars. Despite this, it isn't the biggest moon in the solar system. That title goes to Ganymede. However, Titan is still of greater interest. It has a thick, dense atmosphere, the only moon known to do so. The atmosphere is composed mainly of nitrogen with methane, and ethane also present. Amazingly, still the moon is believed to have dunes, lakes, seas, and rivers, mainly composed of liquid ethane and methane. Despite the temperature being low of -179 Celsius, it bears a striking resemblance to Earth. Perhaps if the world was a little warmer, it could harbor life. Next and final stop for Saturn's moons, Enceladus. Enceladus, sixth largest of Saturn's moons. It's a mere 500 kilometers in diameter. As with Titan, this moon is also of interest to scientists. It's covered by fresh, clean ice. There is a lot of speculation that Enceladus might have an ocean beneath the ice, and therefore a possible candidate for life. The surface is marked by deep gorges and craters. It is also noted that it has active geysers. Next stop, planet Uranus. Unlike the other planets which were already known about, planet Uranus was actually discovered on the 13th of March 1781 by a man named Sir William Herschel. You can see the telescope he used to discover it with. Planet Uranus, seventh planet from the Sun. Distance from Sun, 2.87 billion kilometers. Size, 50,724 kilometers. Length of day, 17 hours. Length of year, 84 years. Temperature, -224 Celsius. There are 27 known moons. It is the third largest planet in the solar system, and fourth heaviest. Uranus is made of roughly the same stuff as Neptune. Uranus' atmosphere is similar to Jupiter and Saturn in being composed of hydrogen and helium with ices of water, ammonia, and methane. It has the coldest planetary atmosphere in the solar system with minimum temperature of -224 degrees Celsius. Uranus has a complex layered cloud structure with water thought to make up the lowest clouds and methane the higher clouds. The interior is believed to be ices and rock. Like Jupiter, Saturn, and Neptune, Uranus does have a ring system with numerous moons. A unique thing about Uranus is it's tilted on its side. When Voyager 2 visited Uranus, it was discovered the planet had a featureless atmosphere. Through a telescope, the planet looks like any other star to the untrained eye. Uranus has 27 known moons. Larger ones are called Titania, the largest at 1,578 kilometers, Oberon, Umbriel, Ariel, with Miranda being the smallest of less than 500 kilometers. Next and final stop, planet Neptune. Planet Neptune. Neptune is the brother of Jupiter and Pluto. The brothers preside over the realms of heaven, the earthly world, and the underworld. Neptune, like Uranus, was discovered by mathematical prediction. John Couch Adams and Urban Le Verrier, working separately, predicted its position. It was observed closely to where predicted by Johann Galle on the 23rd of September 1846. The largest moon, Triton, was discovered shortly after. Triton we will visit before we return home to Earth. Strangely enough, even though Adams, Crouch, and Galle all co-discovered Neptune, it was actually first recorded by none other than Galileo Galilei, who recorded it twice through a telescope. Seen in his drawings on the 28th of December 1612, and the 27th of January 1613. However, as the planet did not move noticeably, Galileo did not report it, and was not credited with its discovery. Planet Neptune. Eighth and final planet from the Sun. Distance from Sun, 4.49 billion kilometers. Size, 50,000 kilometers. Length of day, 16 hours. Length of year, 165 years. Temperature, -200 degrees Celsius. 14 known moons. Voyager 2's approach to Neptune on the 25th of August 1989 revealed significant features in the atmosphere, unlike Uranus. As previously mentioned, Neptune is composed mainly of hydrogen and helium with some nitrogen, but does contain more ices such as water, ammonia, and methane. Traces of methane in the upper atmosphere explain the blue appearance. Let's wait a second or two for the great dark spot to come around again. As you can see, Neptune has some dark spot regions, not unlike Jupiter's Great Red Spot, punctuated by swirling clouds. Very active indeed given how far away the planet is from the Sun. Next stop, Triton, Neptune's largest moon. Triton was discovered by English astronomer William Lassell in 1846. It is the only moon with a retrograde motion in opposite direction to the planet's rotation, which makes it likely to be a captured dwarf planet. Triton was discovered by English astronomer William Lassell in 1846. It is the only moon with a retrograde motion in opposite direction to the planet's rotation, which makes it likely to be a captured dwarf planet. At 1,353 lumens, it's the 7th largest moon and 16th largest object in the solar system. Well, Space Cadets, hope you've enjoyed your brief tour. Now please fasten your seat belts as we return to Earth. Well, Space Cadets, hope you've enjoyed your brief tour. Now please fasten your seat belts as we return to Earth.